He goes from like skinny normal dude to like, you know, a little bit huskier normal dude to a little bit of muscle normal dude, but probably natural still. Maybe starting TRT soon to literal fucking house status. What's up guys, Derek, moreplacemoredates.com. Today we are going to be talking about Dana White and his dramatic body transformation. A bunch of you guys tagged me in this post on Khabib's page where he has a selfie here with Dana. It was a good dinner with some great people. Dana White, thank you so much, brother, and the entire UFC team for the opportunity to prove myself. You guys have changed my life forever because of this sport. Dana, I'll never forget your attitude towards me. My father did not forget, and my sons will remember you. Today there was a real conversation between real men. Also, thank you to all teams, sparring partners, and all fans. I hope you will accept my decision and understand me. So, second picture of the slideshow. Dana looks like a goddamn sauce fiend and a half. This guy is cranked out of his fucking tree today, filling out this Brooklyn tee with some vascularity and just overall like lean mass, dude. Like the amount of lean mass this guy seems to be holding relative to every other photo I've ever seen of him in my entire life is absolutely, unmatched. This guy is looking peak, not like leanness, but he's looking peak muscle mass I've ever seen. And like, I'm pretty sure this guy's in his 50s or something at this point. So like, this is very impressive size he's holding here. And he looks fucking good, dude. Like he looks jacked as fuck in this picture. So a bunch of you guys tagged me. I'm going to go to the comment section of my phone because the screen recording, on the computer, the Instagram on the computer doesn't work that well for going through comments. So we're going to go through the comments on the phone here. All right, so here we are in the photo here. 12,392 comments. And let's see how many are about Dana White's. Like this is about Khabib's retirement. So like you would assume most of the comments are going to be about the retirement. I'm gonna have to filter through a lot of comments here about Khabib's retirement, obviously, because that's literally what this post is about. But what the fuck is wrong with Dana White's arms? You said I should test him instead. Let's see what the thread. That's a good one. Let's see what the thread says here. I was thinking the same thing. The guy's username at Bear who wrestled Khabib. Dana been hitting the gym. Used to look just fat last 5 years. Harsh, dude. It's called TRT. Google it. It's called having a huge gym in your house at all times. This a little more than TRT. Maybe some HGH too. Laughing crying face. J4 and S4. Three laughing crying faces. He's on way more than TRT and HGH. He's on a cocktail of anabolic agents. Easy to tell. If you think that's just from gym, you're bugging. Compare him from 2010 to this pic. Compare a pic from 11 years ago. Everyone should know Dana's on TRT by now. Yeah, he's swelled up, face bloated too. He still has a large stomach and looks disproportional. I guarantee you he's on all kinds of steroids. That's why people who criticize people on roids have no idea what they're talking about. Look at what he looks like compared to a fitness model. It still takes genetics and hard work, even if you take roids. Dana is what somebody looks like if they have poor genetics and don't really work out hard or watch their diet. The substances will only take you so far without training and genetics. I would argue opposite to that. The fact that he is the owner of this massive league and he's probably working all the time. He's probably doing the bare minimum to maintain, to get as good as he can. And typically entrepreneurs, especially very successful ones, they start to prioritize the gym, less and less and kind of do the bare minimum to get away with maintaining what they feel is a satisfactory physique. At least that's what I do and what a lot of, my friends that are trying to become successful do as well. It's just kind of the route you end up taking. Your priorities start to shift from trying to be as peeled and fucking huge as possible to be like, prioritizing finances, entrepreneurship endeavors rather than just, trying to get to your next PR on the fucking bench press. So with Dana, I think this is the fact that he's making gains in his 50s or whatever. Like, this is impressive, dude. This is not indicative of bad genetics, in my opinion. Like, this is probably actually like decent genetics. How many guys in their 50s on TRT look like that? Like, most guys on fucking actual sauce don't even look like they fucking lift, to be honest. Well, that's not necessarily true, but a lot of them you would not guess. How many guys are on gear that you wouldn't guess are on gear? Like, a lot of them. Whereas Dana, you can literally tell for certain the guy is saucy in this picture. So if you can tell for certain somebody is on something, they're probably better genetically and or working hard plus dieting than, 90% of the other guys on gear. And he's in his 50s. This is talking about comparing to guys in their 20s on gear. Bear who wrestled Khabib, picograms. He's not on roids. If you guys have never met anyone that big naturally, then you should get out more. It's easy to tell when someone's on roids usually. That isn't roids. I disagree. But anyways, let's see what else there is in here. Dana is on steroids, LOL. Why the fuck did I just get kicked off that comment? Let's see the thread here. Was thinking the same thing. LOL, I know. I was looking for this comment. Dana up in the dose. Maybe he's the reason for all the UFC gyno. There is an increasing amount of prevalence of gyno recently, I have noticed in the UFC. Maybe I should do a video about that. Dana, you big juice head. Ha ha ha. You sat as suspense Dana White for 2 years. LOL. He's definitely not in the testing pool. Oh my God, Dana's looking massive. Dana versus the winner of Stipe versus Ngannou for the heavyweight strap. I can't find the comments where I was tagged, but these are funny too. USADA must be looking for Dana. I had a bunch that were like, Dana's on super physiological doses of TRT and shit like that. So anyways, historically, what has Dana looked like? Has he ever been close to this? Well, I did some digging on the transformation of Dana. So it's not like this guy is a stranger to the gym and, just started working out in his 50s for the first time. He's involved in an athletic sport, obviously, and he has been, training for a long time. I don't know how consistently it's been, but the transformation of his physique, more notably, is not about muscle growth really for the last almost 20 years. It's rather been the progression of him going from a, young entrepreneur at the start of the UFC to current. He had a, substantial amount of weight gain over the years, which again, I would assume to be the getting older as well as lower priority of maintaining, the body composition you once had when you were younger as you become, balls deep in business. So this was him in 2003. And as you can see, despite the fact that this is a potato quality video, a very slim looking face relative to now. A lot skinnier, just leaner build in general, but not jacked. He's not holding a bunch of muscle. It's not like he's shredded. Rather, he's just a normal looking guy who's not holding fat nor muscle really. Now, if you go to him in like 2008, for example, he's kind of like in an in-between phase. And you can start to see him shifting from, fresh 2003 Dana look to, 2008. He starts to pack a little bit more on the face a bit, but he still looks pretty slim. Then moving forward to, let's see, what is this? 2013. This is a good look at what his body composition actually looks like. He's doing pull-ups in the gym, and he's wearing a polo thing here. And as you can see, this is the, amount of muscle he has here. Like, this is a much younger Dana, almost 10 years ago at this point, and yet he looks like a fraction of what he is now. Now, do you think Dana got into his all the way through his 40s and never really jumped on TRT until now? I don't know, man. Like, I would assume for a guy who is so business driven, who is so dependent on like high performance, probably from a mental context, as well as probably to recover and get to the gym and shit. Like, obviously he's not a tested fighter, so he can do whatever he wants. And most entrepreneurs going to their 40s and 50s are probably going to get on TRT once they start seeing a decline in their hormone production and a lack of, optimization, essentially. Like, if you can max yourself out, why not? I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, by the way. I'm just saying this is a very common practice among high, net worth entrepreneurs who want to keep their mental performance as sharp as humanly possible, peaking out their T, their DHT, etc. So here he is, cranking out some pull-ups, and you can see exactly what he's dealing with muscle-wise as far back as, 2003 up to 2013. Maybe, he's packed on some muscle, a little bit of muscle, but again, it's nothing like in this Khabib shot looking like a fucking truck stick. So anyways, he goes from like skinny normal dude to like, a little bit huskier normal dude to a little bit of muscle normal dude, but probably natural still. Maybe starting TRT soon to literal fucking house status. Like, this guy, he looks like if he cut, 15 to 20 pounds, he'd be like a contender at like a regional level bodybuilder show, potentially. Like he actually has some good, size on him and fullness and like roundness. Like he looks fucking solid here. So let's see, moving forward to, I don't know what year this was, but this is one of the pictures I was potentially going to use for thumbnail transformation. He's looking, so some people, I guess in our industry where we have like the hypercritical fitness guys who watch fitness models all the time, they would probably say this is skinny fat, which I don't know if the layman, normal average person would say this is skinny fat, but it's certainly, like falls into like dad bod status or some shit. Like it's nothing impressive whatsoever. Doesn't have, nearly the same muscle he has now, and is probably, I accidentally jumped this one. Fuck. He's, holding a bit of, a paunch here. You can see a little bit going on. And then here, he's full-blown Guinness mode, which is, if you don't know, the gut that hangs over your penis. So he is at the peak of his worst shape here, evidently, but somebody on his crew, like this looks like a private flight, I would assume. Somebody, paparazzi'd the shit out of him while he was sleeping, which is kind of not cool, but it's like all over the internet. He's chilling here in his Lacoste shirt, and at the peak of, untrainedness / undietedness in his career, essentially. So a lot of people were saying, Dana's out of shape, blah, 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 which is very common for a lot of guys getting into their 50s and whatnot. Like this is not a uncommon thing to see. But then he turns it around within a couple of years and boom, looks absolutely fucking insane. Like this is a physique. Like I know some guy, most guys would want to be leaner than this, but the amount of muscle mass he's holding, especially at his age, very, very impressive. And the amount of the transformation he did, whatever he did, he obviously put in work, but it definitely involves some exogenous anabolics in my opinion. So if we were going to do a natty or not, I think it's pretty fucking obvious that this guy is definitely doing something to go from here to here is not just chalked up to I wasn't training, adhering to a schedule, dieting properly, and now I am. Rather, it's probably the introduction of exogenous hormones. So in my opinion, I think he is definitely on the Sazul. I was trying to find some recent training footage of him, 2020. Couldn't really find anything except for him, hitting some pads and whatnot, but obviously current Dana, whatever he's doing is working and it looks awesome. I think if he cut like, 15 pounds, 20 pounds, he'd look sick. Like a physique that, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds would aspire to look like, So this is very impressive and good on him for turning it around here. Maybe he just has sick arm genetics, but I mean, to me, I can't see this being done at his age, given his baseline body composition and progression over the years, going from Polo Dana in 2013 in his 40s to, current Dana in his 50s, sauced out of his fucking mind. And okay, when I say sauced out of his mind, I'm not saying he's using a shit ton of stuff. This could be like, borderline, like super physiological TRT, a little bit of HGH in there. Probably nothing crazy. I'm sure he would not be exposing himself to huge amounts of risk at his age. Like, why the fuck would you want to put on like 30 pounds of lean tissue at this age and expose your heart to unnecessary risk, put more stress on your organs and whatnot? Like, I'm sure he's probably doing something relatively safe. In the grand scheme of things, it's probably well-tolerated compounds with a lot of human literature on them, just like bioidentical shit. I'm sure he's not dabbling with trenbolone. I'm sure he's not dabbling with, crazy exotic compounds. I'm sure it's just a baseline generous dose of TRT, maybe a little bit of HGH, and, hitting the fucking weights. So anyways, good on Dana, sick transformation, and I guess we will see how far he takes it. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, comment. Helps the algorithm. It's much appreciated when you guys do that. Follow me on Instagram at @MorePlatesMoreDates, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below, including my TRT clinic. It's all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home. We have highly qualified patient care coordinators and doctors I've vetted myself personally who reflect the highest quality level of information in the industry, and you are in good hands with their oversight and interpretation of your individual biomarkers, your individual status, your individual diet model, even in some cases, even based on genetic predispositions. There's a lot of shit we go into in our clinic that you will not get anywhere else, plus guys that actually just understand endocrinology thoroughly. So check that out if that interests you, as well as my recommended lab tests and diagnostics and anything else I'm associated with in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.